Good, Coach. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
All right, we are ready for our next press conference. The Miami Hurricanes, the number 8 seed in the Greensboro region, represented today by head coach Katie Meier and student athletes Lola Pendande and Jalea Williams. Coach, if you would, please make an opening statement.
We feel really good about how we played yesterday. Like I said afterwards, I thought South Florida is a great team, and if you told me they were going to make 9 threes and shoot 41% from the three, I would have thought we would really been our backs against the wall. So I think our offense showed up, and we're going to need it. I mean, this is a beautiful team, South Carolina. They're just beautiful. They play hard. They defend like their lives depend on it, and they keep things really simple, and they really go to their strengths, and there's a lot of strengths. So we have a heck of a challenge ahead of us, but I think that we're if you could ever be prepared to play such a talented team, at least we've played a schedule that has some of those talented. I don't know that they've all been on the same team like they're at South Carolina, but we've played against some really great bigs. We've played against some great shooters. We've played against some great point guards, and like you said, we've played against 2 number 1 seeds already. So we know that they know that as well, and we're just looking forward to the game and just see how we match up once the ball's tipped.
With that, we'll open up just for questions for just the student athletes at this time. Please raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. Augusta with the first one.
Hi, I'm Augusta Stone with the State Newspaper. I wanted to ask y'all, just both of you, preparing for South Carolina, what are some of the main, keys that you guys are honing in on, in practice just ahead of tomorrow?
Lola, you want to take that first?
Sure. I think we're focusing on the defense and just stay together like we were yesterday playing USF. I think our strength is that we outwork people, so we're just going to go there and play basketball, Miami basketball.
Jalea?
Piggyback on what Lola said, stand together. I mean, this is their home court, and like last night we saw that they had a lot of fans. So like Coach said, we have to stay together, communicate with each other, always stay connected, because we're not going to be able to hear each other. Like, only people that can hear us is the people on the court. Like, we barely can hear Coach Kate. So honestly, communicate, play defense, rebound, and score in the basketball.
Go to the second row. Go ahead.
Matt Vereen with Watch Fox here in Columbia. You mentioned last night. I'm just curious what your guys' reactions were when you're watching that game and you see a score like 44-4. Obviously, everyone knows the Gamecocks are good, but just what was the impression on seeing a score like that?
Jalea?
I mean, I don't really think it was an impression. Like, South Carolina is a good team. We all know that they have very tall people. A person who, like, Aaliyah Boston, who hasn't, like, been stopped. Like, she has double-doubles. So, honestly, I just think being together will actually help work in our favor, playing Miami basketball, and, yeah.
Lola?
I wasn't expecting less from South Carolina. They're a pretty good team. They dominate every game. So I wasn't impressed by that. And honestly, I don't feel intimidated. We've been here before, and we're just going to go out there and work.
Jeffrey?
Coach mentioned you've already played against some of the best women in college basketball already. Is it helpful to be able to pull on those experiences and be able to, so you're maybe not in awe, or that you're just facing people that are just as talented as who you faced before and beaten?
Lola, why don't you take that first?
Yeah, like you said, we've been here before. Like I said, too, we've been here before. We played against one of the best teams in the country. And like I said, again, I don't feel intimidated. We've been in this situation. We outwork them, and I think we're capable of winning if we play Miami basketball.
Jalea?
Yeah, we've been here before, NC State, that last game. It's basically like preseason preparing you for the real season. Like, they had a lot of people. It's just another day of playing basketball, the game we love. So, yeah.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Good. All right. You all can go. Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
See you later.
Y'all have a nice day.
The joy of youth.
And we'll go ahead and open it up for questions for Coach Meier. If you raise your hand, Jeffrey.
Coach, I probably should ask you this like 3 days ago, but what happened when you were 12-10? What clicked? I mean, you're shooting better, everything's going better. I mean, what happened at that point that's allowed y'all to win 9 out of 11?
A lot of it was just inventory, to be honest. So, we were playing the first half of the year without Destiny Harden and Micaiah Gray. All right, Micaiah was kind of back, but she wasn't. Destiny was out. You see how important Lola, Jalea, okay, 2 players we just had in the press conference. That was their first year here. You add Maeva to that, right? You add Lachey Dwyer to that. You don't have. I was coaching a team that only had 2 players that had played for me for 2 seasons in a row, and we were playing, Washington State, Indiana, Maryland, with no, everybody was new, and 2 new assistant coaches and a new video coordinator. So that happened, But it was also then we started playing well. We got Destiny kind of back, but we had a 25-day pause. So while everyone was looking at our schedule, going, "Oh gosh, we had missed some games that, let's say they were maybe winnable games. We ended up winning them later, but we missed them, and so we had to pick them up." So when we went on this run at the last half of February, it was also, like I said, 4 games in a week, 4 games in a week. Like, there was inventory remaining. I kind of had that attitude about it. Like, wait a minute. I mean, it's going to be hard, right? But there are teams right now that only have 12 wins and don't have but 3 games left, right? And we had like 8. So I thought, well, this can get to 20. And so we just kind of stayed on that mantra. So, and at the time, then Destiny comes back, and our shifts happen, and Mikey is back, and the freshmen start playing better, and the transfers understand how we're using them, and so it was kind of 2 things.
Matt.
Coach, I know obviously a unique part of the tournament is your staff getting to scout the opposition in person in
Right.
that following game. Does it present kind of a challenge when that following game goes the way it did, that maybe you don't get as much of an impression of what they might do?
No. I mean, not much rode on that game. I was there. I wanted to soak in the atmosphere, anything else. But we weren't sitting there like, oh gosh, no, we're not getting any calls from this. I mean, we have a lot more inventory that we're watching besides that game.
Cam.
Hey, Coach, Cam Gaskins with ABC Columbia. Speaking of that inventory with South Carolina, what do you see on tape as the biggest component to that defense that makes them so tough to crack?
Right. To see him live in person, sit there on the side of the court is impressive. It's almost ridiculous. I mean, you really do feel like it's a WNBA roster, and credit to Dawn and her staff. We're all so grateful for people that really push our sport, and Dawn is absolutely somebody who does that for us. And we lost Pat, and things happen, and Moffat's not coaching anymore. So Dawn is really someone that we turn to, and she deserves all the credit and all the accolades and all the great success she's had. I'm really grateful for her. But to sit there live and see, I'm not so grateful for their recruiting, because they're really, really, really good. And they're hard to recruit against, let alone play against. So they've earned it, right? They've earned it. They've worked hard, and that's great. And they filled the stands, and that's great for our sport, right? It might not be great for Miami all the time, but it's great for our sport, right? So I'm proud of that. But to see their bodies in person is remarkable. But to see them play in their conference tournament, and to see how they defended some action, I didn't really get to see that yesterday. I didn't really get to see Howard run a lot of action that I wanted to see how South Carolina defended it, right? But I saw some stuff in that conference tournament that it was shockingly good. So I have a ton of respect for their defense.
Coach, do you take anything away from the 2 losses that South Carolina had at Missouri and the Kentucky game, and kind of look to see how those teams were able to get a win?
Yeah, I mean, you have to. Of course, that's the first thing you're going to look at. And you're going to look at, the trends, right? The win-loss trends. Well, there's only 2 trending downwards. So that's not enough inventory to get a whole game plan together. But I do, they play in such a tough conference, and so do we. And so I think you get to very quickly see if you go, well, did anyone trap them? Did anyone press them? Did anyone zone them? I mean, the answer is somebody did, right? So I've gotten to see that a lot in the last 24 hours.
Augusta?
Hi, Coach. I'm Augusta Stone with the State Newspaper. I wanted to ask just kind of your game plan around Aaliyah Boston, obviously not divulging everything, but what have you seen, just from watching her and, just kind of coming up with a plan, against her, the 25 double-double streak and everything going on around her
Well,
right now?
You said it. I mean, but she's I think the thing that I really am most impressed with Aaliyah Boston is her game management, composure, and IQ, like her mental approach to the game. It's not just, oh my God, she's big and can get a double-double. I mean, she's really crafty. She's really intelligent. She's really smart. She puts the ball in the right spot. So she's as good as advertised or better.
Other questions for Coach Meier? None? All right.
Thank
Go.
you.
Thank you.